Now in this play, the devil's speaking here. My cartoon's not working. So I want to put it up because it's important to get the devil, his plan understood, his method, an organized crime method in this cartoon. Now as the devil now upon all things, this causes pain, causes pseudo care, and self-defeat. It causes self-defeat, I should say like that. And then again implies. You see, we are a theater. And they now all complete. You see, the devil says they are a theater now, that the nation's all complete. And then defend fact treatments regarding how we have machines, but we're stuck in tactically denatured relationship to nature that was forced with the identity thefts of our founders, forced even though they broke the surface of the Constitution. That's recorded. So this theater is self-defended, maintained self-defended, that's it. Defend. Affect treatment nature. They are fact treatment nature, their best friend. This is how the devil from semi-ancient times built modern nations. Every leader of every modern nation, every group, states, and areas of every modern nation, every individual is a victim. Reaction forced to what is juxtaposed, bonded. Whole bunch of crime methods manifest as completely fact-treatment nature ones. As completely defenses of pseudo-positive theater. Defenses of that are natures of convictions, personal, with opinions of a nature that can't defend that and us at the same time, from what the Santa Claus is about too. Because this is not just about the New York game and the Hartford game. I mean, this is not just about the Halloween game and the Thanksgiving game, which has nothing to do just about the narratives they put on that. And this has to do with coal or gifts when way alone. Please read the Santa Claus. So they'll be forced to react in where and how it counts. See, this part of the cartoon. If you've seen the devil cartoon with Little Rap Guy and Friends, see, he's supposed to get people real mad because you're supposed to be real mad. What they call now each fact. Invest their mouths. Forced to react in when, how it counts. What they call now each fact. Invest their mouths. Invest their souls. The value rolls. Fake news is recorded, pretended because victims advocates are victims advocates, they can't be child offenders. They're pretending they have interbranch psychologists, misprision criminalities, crime methods, database illusion stacking crimes recorded with their kids, involved with networks, with drugs, with undercover police officers associated with child sex offenders they forced with fake news. Then they have the sensibilities of everyone with theater to titles, not to mandated law. Mandated law says when you have victims advocates, even state's attorneys, and judges, male and female, crime acts, interbranch recorded forging names, switching names and sequences, forcing a principal sex offender, with more recorded still tied to his school. They lied to the family members. They lied to them through time too. Some of the family, all the family members about me, since they were kids. People in the courts, criminally involved, pretended they had conversations with me behind my back. Their little drug cliques with doctors did the same thing, forged names, fake conversations about the Trade Center attack. As people recorded tied to federal criminals who were in the Ninth Circuit that day, with their drug cliques, with identity theft cliques through time, and with a proven sequence shift that was affected from inside the court, where it was proven after there had been papers put on time stamped inside the Ninth Circuit, which is Manhattan Trade Center attack context. The night before, also criminally involved with the same people, facilitated to it, people that are with recorded facilitated connections through time involved criminally. What was lifting Interbranch in prisons and on-off campus not realized, because they even have acting departments and stuff like that. With all how many police forms we have there and here, sharing hundreds of nations, sharing fake nations, identities of law. This is a crime method that juxtaposed a whole bunch of needs and natures, life progression natures. Database solution stacking, valuing predators, sensibilities with Miss Prisian, and live progressions tied to the databases and with the areas originally still. Physical delusions, interscience, interbranch, originally still criminally foreign influence, shared policing, other too many nations. Sick trade center agreements means to duck behind how that is down to debates of finite, active, and progressive, where they're lying about to themselves and to others. There and here, incapable of defending a quality of fact treatment nature that is incapable, that is capable of standing free speech with an unabridged constitution and mandated law. Because all we needed for evolution is recorded. Others being pretended recorded, and that's recorded. How they were motivated to it is recorded. Anyone tries to speak real, they're offensive. This is an offensive evidence fabrication racket that used color. Used way more than color. This is against every single person in every modern nation. This is states and areas. So what we should do in Syria right now, by the way, is nations, I explained about the finite, active body of value, progressive. That's where real science proves. Can't deny it without lies, delusions, and criminal foreign influence is being demonstrated. If you try to deny, what was I say? So with Syria, I forgot that was with Syria and with Palestine, and with what Jewish means, homeland. It means this is how Jewish Islam and Christianity, and Islam is also about the simultaneous nature of the name, of the identity of unto all things at once. Not just Allah. The 100 names of Allah is about simultaneous nature. It's about the process. As the beginning of the Quran demonstrates, but the beginning of the Quran, beginning of the Old Testament, being about science and being about the science of organized crime, of criminal insidiousness nature. See, this is about Adam is the subject, Eve is the verb. A predicate is not the same thing as a verb, because a verb can be inflected to become a noun or pronoun. I mean, a participle nature or an infinitive nature. And then it's no longer a predicate. only a main verb can be a predicate, which is the verb's positive identity onto itself, which is also further positive onto its, which is its positive identity, but it's not. We'll examine it. But in other words, it's to point out the predicate act is associated with criminal enterprises and natures that are going to commit a predicate act, which is a high crime, facilitated in or in collusion with or influenced by a criminal enterprise, organized crime body, as a criminal and citizen's nature act. A predicate act is like someone with a predicate act is have a negative, simultaneously and inherently, actively and progressively negative relationship to themselves, as our identity of nature's identity of relationship to itself as one volume, individual, grouped, and together at the same time, in demonstration of that. Because like our volume of experiences, it's positive or negative relationship to its nature of identity. The nature of volume. The nature of volume itself, which is identity's course, identity is what polarity is really about. That's why everything is in demonstration of this. Not one thing, everything. The identity of all things at once is simultaneously, distinctly, and non-distinctly in demonstration of us, invisible but clear, to be discerned. Three natures of invisible. The black pupils and the whites of eyes are simultaneously being demonstrated. The identity of perfect value progression that we are inside of, but it's also coming into and from us. We are a quality of diffusion life, positive or negative in relationship to it, but this is as temporary positive. Criminal insidiousness nature is negative value nature as temporary positive. You can't legalize criminal insidiousness nature. Modern nations are legalized criminal insidiousness natures. Identities of laws, positions that were raised as victim predators to justify what you can't justify and defend ourselves at the same time from what is non-distinctly, sickly, fluent through hundreds of modern nations shared. Theater, positive markets, positions, tactically denature relationship to nature, tactically value nature system ulterior from this fact, treatment nature, value nature system realities. That's negative value nature reality forced. That's not mandated law, which forces that's not the unabridged constitution with simultaneously inherent active and progressive means with voice, because that's evolution right there. Because we have all we need recorded. We have criminally foreign influence zoning laws and a tactically denatured relationship to nature. In other words, you claim even the suburbs tactically denatured. What do you do next? People below that go first. You see what I'm saying? And at the same time, this is simultaneous, but I'm saying we have to go by the ground, where the bedrock is, where the water is, where it's going to interact with us, how it's going to interact with us, how it's going to flow, where it can be rechanneled. We can't afford to do what we do, not by accident, because they forced on our founders with crazy slavery of our founders' laws. You know how incompetent and lack of integrity as victims, but as child abuse predators, as every age. They're talking about, no, I forgot the point, but in other words, science never spoke. Those are not means. You know what I'm saying? can only afford that through a recorded, criminally foreign influenced value nature system. People stacking the space, there are huge swaths of lands every year sold out. No one even realizes, because we're in the little pathology that they stuck to be fact cheating nature, all victim predators, defending fact cheating nature quality treatments, sequence treatments, physical delusion treatments with that sensibility that you can't defend it, and also at the same time, from what comes sickly, has every modern nation, hundreds of nations, sickly hurt distinctly to keep how sickly non-distinctly hurt from being discerned. Not one has learned. The sciences share an identity. They have each nature of campus, each state and area of each modern nation, criminally foreign influenced, criminal insidious nature cultivate. They propagated this to keep roles, suit and tie counters to it, all victim predators. Recorded, that's why no one treated the first part of the Old Testament and or the Quran the way it has to be treated. First part of the Old Testament says all you have to understand is this right here, about how the sciences share an identity. That's why I'm saying the alpha. This with the alpha omega cipher alphabet. This is why the predicate in the predicate act, they share an identity like the sciences. So the predicate act is of organized crime law associated, and the predicate associated with English grammar. Correlation nature simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive means will have free speech. Let one teach. Marbury vs. Masson. They're thinking about that as criminal and insidious nature tools, as victim predators. Everyone, because there was sensibility treatments of American history that left out their fact cheating nature slavery, their stolen identities, recorded. What denies that has to hide lies and delusions offensively. This is an offensive evidence crime method. They used color. They used all kinds of witch trials, all kinds of crazy laws against everybody. Who appear? See, it means appear. She means are clear. Some come clear. Santa Claus will just appear. See, when we're valuing and we're trying to, prayer, besides what what we know about it, what everyone was supposed to figure out, is also right in the beginning of the Old Testament, right in the beginning of the Quran. Miss it. That's why they have the person who's an unbeliever or a non-believer obligated to stand up, not be as a liar, but in other words, with looking to be true, what is true always, not denying any exceptions, and with sequence nature, appreciation of our nature. In other words, that's in the first part of the Quran, where there's nothing controversial. That's only about when they're saying about believers and disbelievers, even the disbelievers are telling them to value. It's even, and what they're saying, even more so value them. The ones who don't believe but are still honest. Then there's believers who are criminal and insidious natures, states and areas in collusion, criminally foreign influence. And that's because we have hundreds of nations shared as one huge fake identity of a whole bunch of little fake identities, nations, with the same pathology of recorded criminally foreign influenced zoning laws, tactically denatured relationship to nature by the fact cheating nature slavery of our founders. Mao Zedong, James Madison, George Washington. You don't care. We have machines, but we're still with glorifications of theater, and glorifying it the people involved with slavery in the North. That George Washington had to leave entrenched because he could only semi-counter extort them. You know. So now everyone's invested as criminal citizens natures. Oh, well, I didn't really, we realize. Follow mandated course. You're just as fast as you throw little kids in jail, torture them there, use databases against them, forget about it. Just as fast as you guys do that as the identity of the law, follow mandated course, and then fall. CT, that's all. Your game now gathers. Fast, move down.